evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending on which part of the world you are watching us from. Welcome back to Olusapo. And once again, as I said in the previous video, which was the first video on the channel, I mentioned that Olusapo translates to our language, native language in Ubuntu, which means tales or stories. And yeah, today we have a special guest. A brother, a friend, someone we have had so many good memories and good moments together. And today he will be the one sharing his stories with us on the channel, so that you on the other side may be inspired and also believe in life once again. So, Brother Manuel, welcome to Olusapo.
Thank you.
It is a privilege and an honor to have you as our very special guest on the Olusapo channel. So many things that we have to discuss today, that some of which might take us back 4, 5, 6, 7 years back. But yeah, thank you for coming. Brother Manuel, both of us, you and I, have had an honor or a privilege to have been part of the refugee camp Osire. And yeah, that place is a very special place for both of us. We have had good things we learned from that place. But today, since I'm not the one who is opening up or is telling this beautiful journey that we had on the other side, today is your day. I will definitely have also a moment on this channel whereby maybe Brother Manuel can come and he will be the interviewer, and I'll be the one responding to the questions of Brother Manuel, also maybe based in the life that we had on the other side. Individually, I have had an opportunity to have been part of 2 refugee camps, one in Zambia. I've been there for 3 years, and another one which is Osire. Yeah, but then Brother Manuel, when we mention the name Osire, what comes to your mind? Tell us, please. Tell our audience what comes to your mind when you hear the name Osire.
Osire. What comes to mind is home.
Wow.
What comes to mind is home. It is the place I grew up in, and there's just a lot of fond memories of it.
No, I can relate to that.
It was a wonderful place.
I can relate to that.
That's wonderful.
Wow. Still in this spirit of Osire being a home to all of us, you and me, and anyone also who had the privilege to have been there. So I will want you to tell us a little bit about your childhood, growing up in a refugee camp. What are some of the memories that you still have as a child growing up there? And how was it like growing up in the camp?
Well, as I said, I grew up there. So, I mean, the lifestyle there was different.
Indeed.
And I say it was a happy place, you know.
Exactly.
It was as if we were in a planet of our own, you know, cut off from the entire world, you know, and we were just living there in peace. It was a peaceful place.
Indeed.
As kids, I had a lot of friends, and the place was not that big enough, so it was just enough people, you know, to be around.
Exactly.
You could go from one end of the place to the other in the same day, you know, and there was nothing to worry about. You could go around any time, you know, and run around any time. There wasn't much movement, say, of cars and stuff, you know. It was just a nice place, you know, and as a kid there was a lot of places to go play at, you know, and there were kids just wanted to get together and play, basically. And yeah, and everyone there was friendly. The kids were always friendly, you know. And with that many friends, it was always playing, you know, until Mama says, hey, it's time to take a bath, or it's time to go to sleep, or get ready for tomorrow. Maybe there's something or stuff. But yeah, it was beautiful.
No, I can relate to that, brother. I can relate to that. Indeed, it was a place where it seemed like everyone knew everyone,
Exactly.
and I think people were more kind towards each other. People were more helpful towards each other. Everybody lived like a family, and I think even today, the community itself that is here in Windhoek and also in the various parts of Namibia. Whenever we meet, we can still feel that bond that we are family, we belong to the same place, we came from the same place, which is a beautiful thing. And these are qualities that in nowadays you do not really find them in cities. So thank you very much for that. Well, Brother Manuel, I mean, if you were to make a comparison in such a way that you grew up in a camp, today as well you are a father, and seeing your kids today here in the cities, the way they are growing up, what would be one thing that you would say, I would want my kids to have had an opportunity to see this in the camp? And what is the other thing that you tell yourself, I wish I had the opportunity to do this that my kids are doing now in town, which I didn't have a privilege of doing because of maybe restrictions or inability to have access to all these things since we were in a small place, almost like a village. What are the two things that you would want your kids today to have seen on the other side, and you yourself to have had while growing up?
Well, for my kids, I would have wanted them to experience, you know, the bond of friendship that goes beyond just school, you know,
Exactly.
or just people you know, but you know, of having that opportunity to go out and play, you know.
Exactly.
With living in the city, I see a lot of kids say not confined, but the lifestyle is just different. Kids go to school and they are back, and that is about it. Unless you organize with some other parents for their kids to come around and play, you know, your kids are just home and they're just on the phones, on the TV. You know, it's a different lifestyle. You know, while the moment we came home, you know, drop your bags, you could already run to a friend, to your neighbor, you know, you could already go and play out, you know, just the experience of playing in the outdoor, you know, and not in essence always inside and with the electronics and stuff. But I would have loved if I had the experience to grow with the technology my kids have access to today. And in the city there is access to a lot of amenities, you know, zoo parks, a lot of interesting things that as a kid would be nice to have known, you know, or to have done. And so there is a lot of I guess there is benefits to both kinds of
sides. Yes.
I mean, as a kid in the camp, not knowing exactly what other kids were going through, doing out there in the world. It was peaceful. We were like, this is it, you know. And we enjoyed the place, you know, as much as we could, you know. But the most important thing was that we got to bond with a lot of people in the much playtime that we had, you know. And I think that is in essence what drove with kids, you know. They just had time to do stuff with one another, to play with one another, and not having certain kind of things. It bred minds of creative minds. You say, you know, you don't have toys, you have to make this kind of toys to play with, you know. And so it was a mind-opening experience. So it was also good, and it would have been good also if my kids would have had that experience. Because if I take them now to
Yeah,
that kind of lifestyle,
exactly,
what
exactly.
is that one doing with that? You know, how is he playing with that? Look at that. You know,
Yeah,
it will
yeah.
be
A confusing
yeah,
environment.
yeah.
Yeah.
It will be something that they will be amazed at. While for us it was
Yeah. No, I you mentioned one thing which is very, it's a very important thing that you mentioned, and you mentioned electronics. In this case, we might be referring to cell phones, we might be referring to video games, we might be referring to, yeah, all kinds of electronics. But today, I think one of the things that really our kids do not do not have the opportunity to have as we had in the camp is what you mentioned. I mean, just the whole idea of us having time to play with others, play soccer, go for so many activities. Sometimes you can even get lost within the day. You go in the morning, you come in the afternoon, on the evening, regardless of what your parents will do at home, if they'll beat you or whatever it will be. But it was fun. We had an opportunity you have today. Everything you went through, I mean, life in the camp, life in the cities, and your journey as a network professional, all the experiences you have today. Someone who might be the same age as you are, or younger or older, someone who is in a similar place that you were years back, they find themselves in a camp, and this is not really specifically just Osire. I mean, there are several camps all around the world. A young man or a young lady who might find himself or herself in such situation, you know, they might be full with anxieties and they're hopeless. They see themselves as not really having a future. Everything seems to be not moving forward because they're stuck in the camp. What will be your advice? What would you tell them to do? What message would you give them?
Well, I have to start this one off in the faith. Being a Christian, I have to first say, believe in God.
Believe in God.
Believe in God. Believe in God. Believe in Jesus.
Amen.
Amen. He has planned for everyone.
Yeah.
And He will make it happen if we stick to Him. If we trust in Him, He definitely will come through. There's always a lot. Anyone should not give up. Don't give up on the dreams. A lot of times things may seem that this is the dead end, there is nothing more to do, but there is always a way out. There is always a way out, and they just have to have the spirit of never giving up.
Exactly.
You know? You keep pushing, even while you are waiting for the way out. Do something. Do something. Do something. Do whatever will gain you more knowledge, bring you closer to the goal that you are fighting for. And a way out will come. A way out will come. You'll manage.
Before we finalize, Brother Manuel, specifically on the campsite, or based on the experiences you had in the camp, how did such experiences shape your character? Like, after the transition from that place to here, how did the experiences of growing up there shape your character in a way that when you got into the big cities, you were not influenced by the people you found here or by the things you found here in the cities?
The being in a refugee camp, you don't have a lot of things. I would say you don't have a lot of things. So you learn to live with whatever it is that you have access to, or what you have in your house or as belongings. You learn to be content with what you have. Hoping you can get more, but you know how to manage what you have. Be happy with it. While you fight for more and things like that. And coming into the city, people are way too worried, I would say. They are way too worried, and they are way too busy, and they get into doing things they shouldn't, against the law, even criminal stuff, just because they want to get something so badly, you know. Being in Osire has helped me, you know, has shaped me in a way that I am happy with what I have right now, and you know, I work hard to attain whatever extra that I want, you know, and wait patiently. Wait patiently, you know. There was no rushing there. There was no rushing. You wait, you work, and you wait, you know, for things to happen. And I think this was a great lesson to learn how to live with whatever it is that you have. Be content with it, you know, and make the best of it. Make the best of it. And I think this is something that people growing in the city, they have too much pressure. There's too much pressure, you know.
Most of us have kept that bond from that place until today, and which is something that our kids not really have an opportunity to have. To know, I mean, kids they are at home during the weekdays, during on the weekends. They are also at home, but they are mostly on their phones. They are mostly on the computers playing video games, and they not really have that time of bonding with others. Which might also be not so very good for them. But you mentioned there are advantages on both sides and disadvantages on both sides. Thank you, brother, for opening. It is said that education is the key. This is a quote from Madiba, founding father of the South African nation. Do you agree with this statement? Education is the key.
I do agree with the statement. Education is key. It shapes people, so it is needed in life.
Indeed. Still in this chapter of education, or in other words, schooling, would you mind sharing with our audience what was it like going to school in a refugee camp?
Going to school was good. You know, as a child, or children in general, being in class for hours learning is not the fun. But we looked forward to it in the refugee camp because it was one of the few activities where we met with our friends, you know, and we had the opportunity to share in a lot of things, you know, a lot of activities, exercise, and other things. The best time I would say was around break time, you know, or after school when you're leaving, going home, you know. There was no transport, so we walk home. There was that time of again bonding with friends, you know. But in essence, we enjoyed school. We enjoyed school. There were some of the subjects, I mean, individually that people enjoyed, when you know you have that subject, tomorrow you're excited to go and learn more. You know? But all in all, it was a wonderful experience. It was good.
No, that's really good. That's really good. And you mentioned subjects. When you mentioned subjects, something came up in my mind, and like all of a sudden, I thought of Mr. Muigra, our history teacher. You know, it was so fun, and I mean, each and every day when you wake up, if you know that timetable there is history for that day, you know it's going to be a class of laughter. It's going to be a class where I'm going to concentrate because of the way that he taught, and indeed it was very funny. So still in this chapter, what were some of the things that you saw as challenges within? Okay, I'm actually referring like to resources. I mean, we were in the camp, and we actually had access to electricity in such facilities, but when we go back home, the reality was a different one. So, what were the challenges that you faced in this regard?
Well, for starters, I remember my grade 2 and my grade 3 were classes out in the open. It was not a building or anything. It was just out in the open. The chairs were stones, and there were no tables.
Yeah.
So all of that were challenging, you know. But we got used to it. We got used to it, and I would say we had made peace with it. And it was fine with us. We didn't complain about it. But yes, being in a city now, we see that is something that we love. That is something that we could have experienced better. You know, that learning journey would have been better had we had these facilities. Going to the homes, we had no electricity because of the different kinds of material that we used in the house. Some of the things were really risky to have electricity in the house. So no one risked electrocution or anything. So we had no electricity. We used candles and paraffin with the paraffin lights and that kind of things. And revising or wanting to study with that, at times it was a little bit of trouble, you know, especially if you say, you know, when you are fancy, you have the candle, not the candle, but I don't know how they call it.
The lantern.
Like the lantern, and then there is the chimney. With the chimney, you can the light is well spread in the house or in the room, and you can quite read fine. Without it, it is a lot of smoke. It smokes in the house. It makes the ceiling dirty, and then it makes your eyes pain after a while of reading and stuff. But I think that was one of the challenges that. You had to rely also on books, and I mean there was a library, and I don't think we had much of resources to rely on when you want to study and you know, further your understanding into a subject or something.
But despite all these challenges, I think one of the things that I can remember now is the willing spirit that I could see in almost every individual that was in school at that time, because I mean the studying spirit was so high that early in the morning, whichever side you are planning to go for jogging or to go just for a walk or whatever reason, the moment you just leave your house, you'll find someone with a book walking and they are studying. You know, you go into the bushes, you'll find someone. Someone on the trees. I mean, they are studying. You could find learners everywhere, just for the sake of the book. And when we see just how we saw the importance of education, I mean, it was remarkable. It was wonderful. We didn't really have so many things that would distract us from not reading, from not taking up our books and revising, and that's also one of the reasons why I think somehow it helped to make the school stand out, because we know it was known during that time that if you are coming from Osire with your school report, definitely only a few schools here in Windhoek would refuse to give you a place, because they knew that students coming from that place, they were not only smart, but they were focused. So indeed it was a challenge, but it also helped us to see life in a different perspective.
Yes. I just want to add that you know, despite these problems, like I said, it's as if not as if we had made peace with our environment, with what we had, you know. And having made that peace, we had no problem with that. So the focus was simply to learn and study and move forward. And also to commend the parents, you know. A lot of our parents were adults in the cities where they were originating from. You know, they have seen the city. They knew exactly the importance of education. So every parent that was there was pushing their child, you know. everyone was pushing, hey, you need to study,
need to study,
because
yeah, yeah.
they knew that with education that the kids would one day make it in life,
Exactly.
make something out of themselves,
Mm.
help maybe them get out of the refugee camp,
Yeah,
help themselves
yeah,
get
yeah.
out of the refugee camp. So yeah, I really commend, because every parent was pushing the child to study. So
yeah. No, indeed, it's a good point that you mentioned parents, because I think without parents, even some of us who were not there with our parents, but we always had some father figures or mother figures. These were basically our friends' parents, but we also had them as our parents. They also had us as their children.
Yes.
They made sure that we went to school. That if we lacked anything, I can even give an example of the Kayembe family. I mean, they have been some of the most. They have been a family which has influenced our lives, specifically us. When I say us, me and my brothers-in-laws, the ones I was staying with at that time, they always made sure that they came to check around what we were lacking. Did we go to school? Did we not go to school? Why not? It was very, 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 very important for parents to see their kids going to school. I think schooling was one of those things that was non-negotiable.
Yes.
It's either you go or
You get the whipping.
Exactly. Definitely.
Yeah, no, it's true. It was a community, not a community just by name, because it's a group of people, but a community indeed, because people cared about one another. And as you said, there were people there with no parents, and yet there were elders in the community, be it people in the same church, elders in the same church, or just neighbors even, they cared enough to be like, this kid that is here without a parent, they are definitely here to study.
Exactly,
Have you gone to school? Why have you not gone to school? And they tried to help whenever they could, and with whatever they could. So it was wonderful.
Indeed. There came a moment whereby it was time for you to leave. It was time to finally say goodbye to Osire and pack your bags and make way for the new life in the cities, looking for new beginnings, as we say in a Christian way, looking for greener pasture. Just as God has told Moses to leave his parents and go to the place that God himself would have shown him. I think it was a similar journey. It was finally time to leave the camp and come to Windhoek. Can you share with us, can you share with our audience, or can you tell us what was that special moment where you thought like no, it is time for me to leave this place and go and look for new beginnings in the cities, or what exactly influenced your move from the camp to Oshivarongo, or from the camp to Windhoek?
As we have said, at the camp there were not a lot of how do I say, facilities. So education there is just until grade 12. So once you're done with high school, that is it. They say that you look for work somewhere in one of the offices, you do business, you do something, right? And so for most people, once you are done with grade 12, the next exit was nearest town city where you could afford to pay for a course, attend university. So for me, I first moved to Chivarongo. It was, at first it wasn't for reason of education. But we were, as a family, transitioning from the refugee camp to that town, and I was there preparing the place, or getting things in order before they move the entire family. The first move was to Chibarongo, where I was helping in essence with the preparations of the house before the whole family moved from Osire or the refugee camp to Chibarongo.
Yes.
From then on, then I moved to Windhoek, and this time it was for reasons of education. My brother called and said, "Yeah, you can come in, you can come and do a course here." He got me into a course, and tertiary education started from there.
From there. Wow. Well, so far, so good. So far, it has been very insightful stories that you have giving us, you have been telling us, and I think almost every one of us, especially the youth, the majority, what prompted their move from the camp to the different cities they find themselves, it was mostly educational purposes, of which most of them have indeed they have taken it seriously, and today we know people who are, who have some good qualifications, some of which, if you do not know them, you will never believe that these are people who came from from the place, or from fire, the way we used to call it. And I totally see myself in that transitional period as well. So coming to Windhoek, what were the things you were really, let me say, maybe struggling with, like?
To say the least, is new environment.
New environment.
It is a new environment. It is a different kind of lifestyle. It's the capital city. Things are expensive.
Exactly.
To get accustomed to the way things are done here. Could no longer go around the place around just any time. And here, to get to places, you need cab,
transport,
for cab and stuff, and plus you need to know places, otherwise you can actually get lost. Can get lost. So these were the main struggles, I'll say.
Wow. And now we would like to also dig a little bit deep into your into this transition, educational purposes. You leave the camp, you come to Chibarongo helping the family, and from Chibarongo it was time for you to come to Windhoek to pursue tertiary education. So now you are in Windhoek, you find yourself in Windhoek. Now you are doing or you are about to begin this new journey, which is tertiary education, and I know that currently you are a network professional. So what really made you decide, this is what I want to do?
Oh, that's a long story. No, I will summarize. You see, growing up in Australia, I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be a medical doctor.
Wow.
I wanted to be a medical doctor.
That
was the one thing I was like, I want to be a medical doctor.
You were never afraid of blood or anything?
No, I wasn't afraid of any of that.
Okay.
And then again, like I had said, these were kind of exposures that we didn't have as we were going through schools,
Indeed,
in cities you get to go visit certain places and show you what people do and stuff, and we didn't get to see all of that. This is I wanted to be a medical doctor, and so I loved natural science through high school, and biology through secondary school. I love biology, and I was like, yes, I'm gonna be a medical doctor. This is what I want to do. But First of all, the medical costs are very expensive. But besides that, you need certain points
certain
to
requirements,
meet certain criteria for you to be eligible to enter into the study.
Medical field,
yes. And so yes, I was not eligible, unfortunately. I would say unfortunately, but now I think
fortunately.
I have to say fortunately.
Indeed.
I have to say fortunately.
Indeed.
I didn't get into it. And my brother then was like, okay, there's this networking course that you can do. It was introductory. It was PC hardware repair and software and stuff. A plus and plus. And networking. And he said, I can pay for you this course if you're interested in it. I said, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So he registered me at the college, and I started the course, and I ended up loving it. And that was the jump into
the network field.
Into the IT world.
No, I mean today is being someone who knows you. I mean, someone who have been with you. I can definitely testify that it has been a remarkable journey into this field.
Indeed.
I mean, you have worked for some of the biggest network companies in the country. So they say there are bad things sometimes that happens to you for good reasons. You know, it might have you might have seen it as an advantage because you wanted to pursue medicine. But today it turned out to be a beautiful story.
It did turn out good. I'll say when I look back, I say God's plan.
Indeed.
It has God's plan. And it is what steered me to the path that I am now. And I always wanted to be a doctor, and I guess I can be a doctor in computer networks.
Exactly.
one day.
Exactly. It resonates a little bit. I mean, at the end of the day, you are still making sure that computers are, they are behaving properly, no one is hacking what. So in some ways you have today. Everything you went through, I mean, life in the camp, life in the cities, and your journey as a network professional, all the experiences you have today. Someone who might be the same age as you are, or younger, or older, someone who is in a similar place that you were years back, they find themselves in a camp, and this is not really specifically just Osire. I mean, there are several camps all around the world. A young man or a young lady who might find himself or herself in such situation, they might be full with anxieties and they're hopeless. They see themselves as not really having a future. Everything seems to be not moving forward because they're stuck in the camp. What will be your advice? What would you tell them to do? What message would you give them?
I have to start this one off in the faith. Being a Christian, I have to first say, believe in God.
Believe in God.
Believe in God. Believe in God. Believe in Jesus.
Amen.
He has planned for everyone.
And
He will make it happen if we stick to Him. If we trust in Him, He definitely will come through. There's always a lot. Anyone should not give up. Don't give up on the dreams. A lot of times things may seem that this is the dead end, there is nothing more to do, but there is always a way out. There is always a way out, and they just have to have the spirit of never giving up.
Exactly.
You keep pushing, even while you are waiting for the way out. Do something. Do something. Do something. Do whatever will gain you more knowledge, bring you closer to the goal that you are fighting for. And the way out will come. The way out will come. You'll manage.
Before we finalize, Brother Manuel, specifically on the campsite, or on the based on the experiences you had in the camp, how did such experiences shape your character? Like, after the transition from that place to here, how did the experiences of growing up there shape your character in a way that when you got into the big cities, you were not influenced by the people you found here or by the things you found here in the cities?
Yeah, the being in a refugee camp, you don't have a lot of things. I would say you don't have a lot of things.
Yeah.
So you learn to live with whatever it is that you have
Yeah,
access to,
exactly.
or what you have
Yeah,
in your
yeah,
house,
yeah.
or as belongings.
Yeah.
You know, you learn to be content with what you have. You know, hoping you can get more, but you know how to manage what you have, be happy with it, you know, while you fight for more and things like that. And coming into the city, you know, people are way too worried, I would say. They are way too worried, and they are way too busy, and you know, they get into doing things they shouldn't, you know, against the law, you know, even criminal stuff, just because they want to get something so badly, you know. And being in Osire has helped me, you know, has shaped me in a way that I am happy with what I have right now, and you know, I work hard to attain it, whatever extra that I want, you know, and wait patiently, wait patiently, you know. There was no rushing there. There was no rushing. You work and you wait, you know, for things to happen, and yeah, I think this was a great lesson to learn how to live with whatever it is that you have. Be content with it, you know, and make the best of it. Make the best of it. And I think this is something that people growing in the city, they have too much pressure. There's too much pressure, you know. There are families who are well off, you know. You see a friend of yours is doing very well, you know. They have access to stuff, you know, and you know, people want to get worried. Why don't I have this? You know, they want to do this and that. Just you know, every kind of thing, just so they also get their hands on that. You know, latest gadgets maybe, or anything, or an Xbox and stuff. You know, we were happy they're playing with the small games and stuff. You know, we were okay with it. Okay. So, that was a great lesson for me.
Indeed, indeed. And I can also even emphasize the fact that, I mean, parents in such regard, they have played a very important role. You know, they made sure that before you leave such places to come here, they have given you the basis on which you can build your life on. You know, the religious principles that we have been given by our parents, I think, are some of those which have shaped the way we see life in towns, and we are not really just influenced by anything. But yeah, we also need to give credit to our parents, because in such regard they did a wonderful job. Brother Manuel, we are ending very shortly, but there is something that I want to make it part of this channel, which is for anyone who was specifically at the Osire Refugee Camp. When you are being interviewed, I'll ask you this question. What is that one thing that you will never forget? That you'll never forget, and you want to take it all of the days of your life, that this habit or this thing, for as long as I'm alive, I'll take it with me. And my kids will have to know I learned this there. What is that one thing? That's the first question. The second question, I would want you to leave a question for the next guest. Any kind of question that you feel like you want to leave for the next question.
Okay, the first question, what I take with me, I have learned about Cambrini.
I knew that name would come out. I knew that name would come out. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll say that is one that was one of our classic places.
Yeah. Guys, sorry to disturb you. I'll shortly give you to finalize. But for you that are watching us, I think one of these days, me and Brother Manuel will do a live broadcast whereby Brother Manuel will be doing the Cambrin, so that you may also have a chance to know what is Cambrin. Yeah, please continue.
Yes. Cambrini, I left Cambrini. It is Cambrini and Soja. Those are the two things that.
Cambrini and Soja.
Soja. Yeah, I mean that doesn't matter where I am.
Exactly. Exactly.
If I have access to the ingredients, I'm gonna enjoy that.
Wow, wonderful, wonderful.
My kids already know I like that.
Exactly.
So, and those are the two things that I took from the place, and they're just in my heart, man. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
And the question you have for the next guest?
The question for the next guest.
Yeah. Which can be a question without limit, any kind of fields, whatever I feel like leaving the question for this next guest.
For the next guest.
Yeah.
My question is, what would you change if you went back?
What would you change if you went back? I'll definitely have to write that down, so that the next guest, I have to ask him or her that question. Yeah, Brother Manuel, thank you very much for coming.
It was wonderful.
Thank you.
It's a privilege to be here.
Thank you very much for sharing your beautiful story with us.
Thank you.
And I totally believe this is. It may seem as if it's a waste of time. It may seem as if we're just here to just for the sake of us killing time because we don't have any other thing to do.
No.
But I believe somehow, somewhere, there is someone somewhere who will be touched with this story, someone who will relate to this story, and it might change something in their life. So I'm really full of gratitude for making time, and as I said in the beginning, I know you have so many things you have coming.